You ever notice how it's a strange irony that the men who care about someone the most often end up feeling the most lonely? It can be perplexing and unfair, as if caring excessively is a sin. But this common experience can teach us a lot about the hidden dynamics of attraction. In this video, we'll talk about why overforgiving and smothering affection can backfire, and how to find the right balance to keep the spark alive. We blend Stoic understanding with practical guidance on managing relationships. You've come to the right place if you want to learn how to crack the code of love and how ancient Stoic principles can improve your dating life. This isn't your typical relationship advice. It's a mindset shift that can change how you connect with others. Let's start with the first thing. Attachment diminishes your value. Let's start with a hard truth. This is not due to a lack of desire for love, but rather because an excessive amount of attachment indicates a deeper issue. Here's the intriguing part. It's not the love itself that turns her off. It's how that love shows up. When you show attachment too early, you're sending a message that can be a major turn-off. I need you to feel complete. You're my only source of happiness. It feels heavy, suffocating, and rooted in desperation rather than genuine connection. When you give a woman all of your time and energy from the start, it may seem romantic, but what you're actually doing is signaling scarcity. You're telling her, consciously or unconsciously, that you have no other options. Rather than presenting yourself as a self-assured, purpose-driven man, she perceives you as someone whose entire existence revolves around her. Let's look at this situation as an example. When you meet someone new, you immediately start planning your days around her. You text her all the time, cancelling plans with your friends to see her. At first, she might enjoy all the attention, but she soon starts to wonder why he's always available. Does he not have any other interests or goals? Is he elevating me because he believes I'm his sole opportunity? Not because she wants to play games or keep you away, but because she wants a man who is confident, has his own path, and doesn't need her approval. The practice of remembrance by Stoics. Remembering that you must die, or mori, serves as a powerful reminder of how fleeting life is. It's not meant to be morbid. It's a call to focus on what's important when you're going through tough times. Adopt this attitude. You know that every relationship, no matter how strong, is short-lived. This doesn't mean you shouldn't love deeply. It just means you shouldn't base your entire sense of worth and happiness on one person. Take this serious advice to heart and live a life full of your own interests, goals, and pursuits. Living with purpose and following your own path makes you more attractive. You're not chasing, you're leading, and you're not looking for approval. You're confident in your identity, which sets you apart and sustains her interest. In the end, men who lose themselves in the pursuit of love often lose the love they so desperately wanted. Mutual respect and admiration, not dependence, form the foundation of a true connection. When you start giving up who you are to keep her, you've already lost. Instead, work on building your power and self-worth, and watch how the situation changes. Women prefer whole, complete men who don't need them, but choose them. Don't be the man who always wants approval. Be the man who makes her life so full and satisfying she wants to join in. When you live this way, you'll see that women aren't leaving you because you care. They're drawn to you because you care about yourself first. The real cause of her lack of interest. This is something that most men don't realize. When a woman loses interest in a relationship, it's often because she's subconsciously driven to have multiple relationships. Now, before you dismiss this as shallow or materialistic, know that it's a biological instinct that women have to find the most valuable partner possible. It's not about gold digging or being shallow. It's a deep biological drive. About staying alive and making sure that any children have the best possible future. This instinct has been around for a long time, and affects her choices even when she's not aware of it. You might think that showing her how much you care by making her the center of your world and prioritizing her will win her over, but the opposite is often true. When you overinvest too soon, it can cause her to doubt you, leading her to question if he's truly the right person for her and why he's not acting like a man with other options. That's not because she doesn't respect your work. It's because hypergamy makes her look for signs of high value and strength, and a man who's too eager too quickly can seem weak in these areas. Think about this situation. If you see a man who seems to have everything, successful, fit, confident and well-spoken, on paper, he's the perfect partner. However, if he begins to pursue a woman by constantly texting her, altering his schedule to suit her, and prioritizing her before the relationship even begins, he diminishes his worth in her eyes, despite his seemingly flawless qualities. His actions show that he doesn't have enough inner power and abundance. Instead of looking like a man in charge of his life, he seems needy and desperate, which is when she starts pulling away. It's important to know that this doesn't make her a negative person. Her instincts are just leading her to the person she thinks is the strongest and most capable. Finding a man who exudes confidence, self-assurance, and the ability to thrive on his own is more important than finding the richest or flashiest man. The Stoic idea of amor fati, or the love of fate, teaches us to accept and embrace everything that happens in life, including other people's instincts that we can't control. Instead of fighting against hypergamy or resenting women for having these instincts, we should embrace them. Accept the fact that people are what they are. You can't change her tastes or her deepest desires, but you can change how you react. It's important to remember that you can change your own actions, growth, and self-improvement. When you work on becoming the best version of yourself, you naturally attract better partners. Because of how you live, others will see your worth without having to convince them. This is where true confidence comes from, knowing that you are enough. Instead of worrying about whether she's losing interest, ask yourself, am I living up to my own potential? Am I building a life I'm proud of no matter who is by my side? The right person will naturally gravitate towards you, not because you actively pursued her, but because you possess the qualities she finds appealing. Before we move on to the next point, let's take a moment to think. It's simple to get caught up in analyzing her actions and wondering what went wrong, but remember that the real change starts with you. Now is a wonderful time for a simple affirmation. I focus on becoming the best version of myself in the comments. By doing this, you're not only participating, you're also promising to put your growth and self-respect first. Adopt the mindset of a high-value man and see how things start to fall into place. Let's keep watching number 3, the dangers of making emotional decisions. When it comes to relationships, a lot of guys let their feelings guide their choices. It feels natural at first. After all, love and excitement are powerful emotions that can easily take the wheel. But when you start making choices based purely on these fleeting feelings, you set yourself up for trouble. Emotional decision-making can quickly lead you down a path where you sacrifice your goals, compromise your values, and begin to mold your life entirely around her. While this might seem like love or devotion, it actually weakens your frame and puts the entire relationship at risk. Think about the last time you made an impulsive choice to please someone you care about. Maybe you rearranged your entire schedule just because she asked, or perhaps you gave up on a personal project to spend more time with her in the moment. It feels like you're showing her how much she means to you, but what you're actually doing is signaling that you lack a solid foundation. You're communicating that you're willing to bend your own needs and desires just to keep her happy over time. This creates an imbalance. She starts to see you as a man who can be swayed by emotions and who lacks a firm grip on his own life. This doesn't make her feel more secure. In fact, it has the opposite effect. She begins to question if you're capable of making strong, rational decisions when it truly, truly matters. A woman desires a companion who can steady her, not one who succumbs to every emotional surge. A healthy relationship needs a strong base, and that base starts with you. If you always make choices based on how you feel, you're building a house on sand. It might last for a while, but the cracks will show eventually. When you put logic and reason first, you create stability. You transform into a trustworthy individual, capable of making sound decisions despite intense emotions. This doesn't mean hiding your feelings or acting like a robot. It means combining your emotions with your values and using them as signs instead of orders. Use your emotions to guide you, but don't always follow them. A woman respects a man who can keep his emotions in check and knows when to follow his head and listen to his heart. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said that we are truly wise when we act based on our beliefs, not just our wants. It's straightforward to make a choice based on what makes you feel favorable at the time, like avoiding conflict, pleasing someone, or giving in to a short-lived emotion. But Seneca reminds us that these choices often lead us astray. Instead, we should follow a path of moral clarity and make choices that are in line with our core values and long-term goals. Imagine your principles as a compass that helps you find your way through the rough seas of emotions. When you make choices in line with your values, they keep you on track even when the waves are crashing around you. When you show her your real self, you earn her trust and respect, as well as your own. A strong man doesn't ignore his feelings, but he also doesn't let them control him either. He recognizes them, learns from them, and then makes a decision that fits his goals and values. This level of mental control isn't common, but it's very attractive because it shows that the person is mature and strong. When you want to make a snap decision to please her, stop and ask yourself if it's in line with your values. Are you making this choice because it's right or because it feels beneficial at the moment? By leading with logic and tempering it with a healthy dose of emotion, you show her that you're not just any man, but a man of substance who she can respect and depend on, and that's what makes you truly magnetic. 4 women want strength over attachment. Women naturally seek a partner who possesses strength and resilience, providing them with security and stability, particularly in uncertain times. When you become emotionally dependent on her and constantly seek her approval, she begins to question your ability to be a strong protector. It is not a thought. It is a deep-seated biological reaction. Think of 2 kinds of guys. The first man is someone who always needs her attention, constantly checking in to get her reassurance and adjusting his life around her. He thinks he's being attentive, but what he's really doing is showing weakness by revealing that he needs her presence to feel safe. The second man, on the other hand, is confident in his love for her, but he's focused on his own purpose and goals, and while he enjoys her company, he doesn't depend on it for his happiness. Now, ask yourself which man she finds more attractive. There's no doubt that the man who stands tall on his own is the one who shows her that he can handle anything life throws at him. This kind of inner strength is attractive because it means he's a leader she can trust, especially when things go wrong. Strength naturally attracts women over attachment, as it satisfies their need for safety and protection. Throughout human history, strength was a sign of survival. Strong men were the ones who could protect, provide, and lead, while weak men relied on others for support. These instincts haven't gone away, and they still play a big role in attraction dynamics. When you show emotional dependence and attachment too early, it makes her nervous. She starts to wonder how he'll handle problems and keeps calm when things get tough. She wants a partner who can show love without losing himself in the process. The Stoics had a powerful philosophy when it came to strength. They taught that true power comes from within, not approval from others. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." To be truly attractive, you must first become self-reliant. You must develop a sense of worth that doesn't depend on what other people think of you. You become a Stoic who doesn't need others to validate his existence. You're confident in your abilities, your own way and choices. This independence is incredibly attractive because it shows that you're a man of substance, a man who doesn't crumble under pressure. Here's the reality. Women are looking for a partner, not a project. They don't want someone they have to carry emotionally. They want someone who can stand beside them as an equal, or even lead when needed. If you're constantly seeking her approval, you become a burden rather than a source of strength. Instead, focus on building yourself up physically, mentally, and emotionally. Be the man who cares deeply but doesn't lose his sense of self. Show her that, while you value her, you're strong enough to walk your own path. When you develop this kind of inner resilience, you naturally become the partner she craves. You're no longer just another man seeking her attention. You're the man she wants to stand by because she knows you have the strength to weather any storm together. Now let's take a moment to internalize this mindset. Understanding the power of inner strength over attachment can transform not only how you approach relationships, but also how you see yourself. So if you're ready to embrace this shift, I invite you to take a moment to pause and write, "I am strong, confident, and self-reliant." This affirmation serves as a powerful reminder that your strength and confidence originate from within, not from seeking validation from others. Feel free to write it down, let it resonate, and let this affirmation serve as the cornerstone of the self-assured man you're becoming. The fifth step is the long fade. The slow fade, why she moves away. She slowly pulls away in silence. Women usually don't leave a relationship all of a sudden and dramatically. Instead, they slowly pull away in small, almost imperceptible ways. One day everything seems fine, but then you notice she's texting less. Her replies are shorter. She's not as eager to make plans, and her warmth starts to fade. Don't let the quiet withdrawal fool you. The signs are present, but most men are too angry or upset to notice them clearly. The slow fade isn't usually a last-minute choice. If she doesn't want to face her doubts and unmet emotional needs head-on, she starts to make space between herself and the other person. She uses this gradual distance to assess her desire to leave or the possibility of saving the relationship without a major confrontation. It's a safety net that gives her time to experience what she's feeling. Ali separated before making a choice. Men often miss these signs because they're too focused on their own feelings. They think that if she hasn't said anything directly, everything is fine. But in reality, her actions speak louder than any words. If you're not paying close attention, you'll miss the minor signs and be shocked when she finally tells you it's over. When you're deeply in love, it's difficult to see the signs of a relationship slowly ending. You want things to work out so badly that you ignore her subtle cues. You tell yourself that she's just going through a phase or is busy with other things in her life, but deep down you know that something has changed. It hurts to admit this because it forces you to face the possibility that she's pulling away. Marcus Aurelius, one of the famous Stoic philosophers, often talked about how important it is to keep your feelings in check and see things clearly. He wrote, "Cloud our vision." You have control over your mind, not outside events. If you understand this, the slow fade will give you strength. This means watching what she does without judging her right away, or letting your feelings decide how to react. Don't freak out when you see her pulling away. Instead, be aware of what you're noticing. Watch how she acts without thinking about what you think it means. Take a step back and ask yourself if she is trying to connect with you, starting conversations, or if you are the one who always reaches out. Are her words matching up with her deeds, or is there a disconnect? You can respond thoughtfully rather than acting impulsively. If you think she's pulling away, the worst thing you can do is chase her even more. Give her space, accept the distance she's making, and use this time to work on yourself. This doesn't mean you ignore her or play games with her. It means you show her that you understand her need for space and are confident enough to let her come to you when she's ready. By taking this stance, you show her that you're strong and emotionally mature. It also shows her that you value yourself enough to let the relationship develop naturally instead of forcing it. If she's interested, she'll notice your calm, confident response and may become interested again. If she doesn't, you've saved yourself the pain of clinging to someone who was already halfway out the door. In the end, your inner strength is what makes you stand out. It's what makes you the kind of man she regrets dating, not getting number 6. It's all about how you feel. She feels things she feels. Let's get one thing straight. A list doesn't make women fall in love. Women judge you more than just your size, wealth, or physical attractiveness. Those traits may catch her eye at first, but they won't keep her interested in the long term. You'll keep her interested and make her fall in love with you by making her feel high, excited, comfortable, and even challenged. If you're too sure of yourself, or if you only focus on your appearance, you may seem amazing at first, but people will forget you. Have you ever observed that a woman can experience deep attraction to a man who may not be the most attractive, possess the sexiest car, or have the largest bank account? It's because he knows how to make her feel something special. He's unpredictable, exciting, and makes memories that she'll remember for a long time. This is the type of man who impresses because he knows that attraction is more about making an emotional connection than checking off a list of desirable traits. You could be the most conventionally attractive guy, tall, fit, and successful, but if your interactions with her are always the same and you don't make her feel a variety of emotions, she'll eventually lose interest. She's not shallow or demanding. Her attraction is based on how you make her feel when she's with you, not logic. It's common to believe that you must fulfill specific requirements to maintain her interest in appearances. If you don't understand the importance of emotional engagement, you could possess all these qualities and still experience relationship problems. Women are smart. They can tell when a man is leading with his resume instead of his heart. It feels hollow, like you're trying to impress her instead of connecting with her. Stop worrying about these outside factors and focus on the relationship itself. Try to attract someone by controlling what you can. Are you genuinely involved, or are you merely performing? Are you making her feel something real, or are you relying on surface-level traits to carry the attraction? Not what happens to you, but how you react, said Epictetus. You can't change how she feels, but you can change the kind of man you choose to be. When you live with purpose and authenticity, you naturally create the kind of emotional experience that draws people in. Be the best version of yourself, not someone else. Men who are content with their identity do not strive to please others. Women remember how you made them feel much more than the things you own or the words you say. Your excitement, comfort, and ability to make them feel seen and understood will be remembered. It's not about perfection, it's about authenticity, when you can evoke a range of emotions in others. By combining joy, curiosity, desire, and even a little tension, you can make a strong, long-lasting connection with her. Instead of focusing on building a list of traits, become a man who can give her an emotional experience she can't get anywhere else. Be yourself and lead with your honesty. Accept yourself as you are and let your interactions happen easily. This is what really attracts people. If you're still with me, I'll never forget you. Take a moment to promise yourself that you will make the mental shift we've been talking about happen right now. Go ahead and type your promise in the comments. I focus on how I feel. Connection. By doing this, you're saying that you want to be the kind of man who doesn't just check things off, but also makes unforgettable memories. Small steps can have big effects. Let's continue exploring ways to enhance your understanding of this concept. Seventh, the need for the important role of fantasy and imagination. Dreams and fantasy women love imagination and fantasy. Their passion is the unknown, what could be, and possibility. If you are excessively available, too predictable, or constantly available, you deprive her of her sense of mystery and thrill, thereby preventing her from allowing her imagination to roam freely. When there's no mystery, there's no anticipation, no excitement, just a flat, predictable routine that feels more like an obligation than an adventure. Why do women like romance and adventure stories with twists, turns, and times they didn't see coming? These narratives satisfy her desire for an emotional journey and a narrative that lacks clarity or structure from the outset. It's the what-ifs, the moments of uncertainty, and the anticipation of what's going to happen next that keep her interested. If you're too available or predictable, you take away the unknown. She already knows everything about you, treating you like a well-read book. You're there for her every time she calls, you drop everything for her, and she knows exactly how you'll react to any situation. Instead of sparking her imagination, you become a safe person. Make a practical decision that doesn't arouse curiosity or emotion. The Stoics thought that people should fully embrace life's challenges and follow their interests with a sense of purpose. Seneca, a philosopher, said that we don't dare because things are hard, but because we don't dare that they are hard in relationships. This means being brave enough to live a lively and exciting life. When you go your own way and chase your own interests, you create an air of mystery and adventure that makes people want to join you. Not pretending to be someone else or making things more mysterious. It's about really making your life flexible, one that's full of passion for adventure and a readiness to leave your comfort zone. If you live this way, you won't have to play games or act distant to keep her interested. Your real joy in life will make her want to be a part of your story. Women want guys who can give them more than just stability. They want the thrill of a journey. You become more than a partner when you add mystery and fantasy. You become an escape from the ordinary, a source of inspiration and a spark of excitement in her life. Instead of always being predictable, embrace the unknown, follow your passions, try new things, and keep growing. Let her wonder about you, imagine the experiences you're having, and feel the excitement of not knowing what's next. This sense of adventure isn't something you can fake. It comes from truly living a life that's full of meaning and vibrancy. In the end, it's how you make her feel that makes her fall in love. By adding a sense of imagination, mystery, and excitement to her world, you give her a reason to keep coming back for more. You gain power over your indifference by showing disregard. The more she wants to hold on, the more she's ready to walk away. It's not that she's cold or uncaring, it's that she can show controlled indifference. This is not the same as playing games or acting like you're not interested. Self-respect and mental stability are the foundations of controlled indifference. This calm confidence conveys the message, I want you, but I don't need you to feel whole. When a woman perceives your lack of fear of losing her, it triggers a psychological shift, making you the object of her desire to acquire. Think about how something that's just out of reach makes us want it more. That's how human psychology works. People want things that are difficult to get. If you show controlled disinterest, it means that your life isn't about her. This subtle detachment interests her. She wonders why he's not chasing her like everyone else and what gives him so much confidence. What knowledge does he possess that I don't? This makes her more interested in the chase. On the other hand, if you're constantly trying to win her approval by doing everything you can to make her pleased and showing that you're afraid of losing her, you end up pushing her away. Instead of seeing you as the confident, sure of himself man she wants to be with, she sees you as someone who has no other choices, and nothing is less attractive than desperation. It's important to know that controlled indifference is not the same as disinterest. You're not ignoring her or acting cold to trick her. By letting things happen naturally, you're showing that you value yourself and your freedom as much as you value her company. You're not forcing the relationship or putting your own plans on hold. This kind of energy feels real and engaging because it comes from real self-confidence, not a well-thought-out plan. She finds it challenging to resist a man who can master this balance. He doesn't get upset by her tests or her attempts to make him chase, and he values his own time and energy. This doesn't make him distant. It makes him the kind of partner she feels lucky to be with. He's the man she wants to win over because he's not trying to win her over, Stoic. Epictetus taught us the importance of detaching from external outcomes. He believed that true freedom comes from valuing one's own autonomy above all else. In his words, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. In the context of relationships, this means not putting your happiness or self-worth in the hands of another person's approval. When you practice detachment, you don't care too much about whether she stays or leaves. You don't always worry about the relationship or how she feels about you. Instead, you focus on being the best version of yourself, living according to your principles, and letting things happen naturally. This attitude is freeing because it puts you in charge of your own emotions and happiness. You're no longer a slave to her responses or approval. Controlled indifference isn't about manipulating others. It's about loving yourself enough to walk away if you have to. It's about keeping your freedom and not letting anyone tell you what you're worth. When you show her that you're a man who respects himself and isn't afraid to lose her, you become the prize. You change the dynamic so that she realizes she has to work to keep your attention, not the other way around. Keep in mind, men who are comfortable in their own skin, don't require validation, and embrace life independently are the most magnetic. By practicing controlled indifference and stoic detachment, you become that man. They are resilient, self-assured, and ultimately unstoppable. Now that the video is over, it's time to think about what we've seen. Today, we talked about an intriguing paradox that many men find challenging to understand. Why does showing too much care and affection sometimes backfire in relationships? The issue lies not in love per se, but in the expression and perception of that love. When affection turns into attachment or emotional dependency, it can make the other person feel overwhelmed or even trapped. What should bring you closer can instead cause a rift. This brings us back to the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. The Stoics teach us to value self-control, self-respect, and how important it is to focus on what we can control, our actions and reactions. When you use this in your relationships, it means that you lead with confidence and a sense of inner purpose. Instead of losing yourself in the pursuit of someone else's praise, you stay grounded and true to your values. Thinking this way naturally enhances your attractiveness as it portrays you as a strong, independent partner who doesn't seek validation, instead creating a life that others aspire to join. Let's not forget the main point. It's not about caring less, it's about caring wisely. Show affection, but do it from a place of abundance instead of scarcity. Think about more than love to define yourself and make you happy. Keep your own goals, hobbies, and passions outside of the relationship. This balance is what keeps the relationship healthy. It keeps you from coming off as needy and lets love grow without you losing your sense of who you are. Take a moment to think about this question. Are you living in a way that reflects your own values and goals, or are you sacrificing too much of yourself for someone else's approval? The answer could be a powerful revelation that changes how you approach relationships from now on. I urge you to implement these insights into your life and transform into a man who embraces his own identity, provides love without compromising his integrity, and leads with strength and authenticity. You won't just be the type of partner women want, you'll also be the type of person who is fulfilled and content no matter what happens in a relationship. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-reflection and growth. If you learned something from today's talk, please like the video. It helps the channel a lot. I'd love to hear your ideas in the comments. Have you ever experienced hurt due to excessive caring? How do you keep the balance in your own relationships? Share your stories so we can all learn. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more content on how to master relationships with Stoic wisdom. To learn more about these ideas, watch the videos suggested on the screen. Thank you again for watching, and don't forget, a life where love is a choice and not a need is where real strength lies.